Hey folks, John with Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. Atari shirt on and something cool in front of me. Here we go. Now guys, I know this might surprise you. Now I know, sit down and relax for just a second, but I'm a bit of a gamer. Yeah, and when I started my gaming career would have been back in the early to, I'd say, late 70s. And one of my first gaming consoles was the Atari 2600. Now, a lot of you guys probably had this exact same console sitting in front of your big old square living room TV. And guys, this is what set the pace for everything. It is the system that pretty much launched everybody. So before Nintendos and Commodores, there was Atari. Well, Atari has come out with the new 2600 Plus. Guys, you're not going to believe this. Not only is it a faithful reproduction of the original, it uses the original cartridges as well. This blows my mind. So for those of you like, oh, I don't know, me, that still have our insane stacks and boxes of Atari cartridges. And by the way, that one right there, guys, Sword Quest was always one of my favorites. And for those of you guys who were ever back in the, I'd say early 80s, you remember the competition they have, giving out gold swords and gauntlets and all that kind of stuff? That was the game they were doing it on. Let's take a look at this Atari, guys. I have not opened this. I wanted to wait and do it with you guys so that we could all see it together. This came in on Friday, right after, like on Black Friday. Do you have any idea how much I wanted to open this? I'll tell you. But all right. So the box looks really, really nice, guys. It does come with one game cartridge with 10 pre-programmed games, none of which are on the top of my list here, but that's okay because it does have some of the staples on there. Going around to the back, you can see what we've got. Adventure and Combat, you have to have those. Haunted House, Dodge 'em, Maze Craze, Missile Command, Surround, Volleyball, Pinball, and Yar's Revenge. Now, of all of these games, Adventure and Yar's Revenge were definitely the ones that I played the most often. Now, obviously, Combat, everybody and their brother played Combat. It sparked many a fight over the fire, let me tell you. But looking around to the sides here, nothing real special. Let's crack this thing open and see what we get in the box. I am so excited about this. One thing I'm curious about now, this is not a Heavy 6. This is what my original Atari from the 70s. The Heavy 6ers weighed quite a bit more, but I'm curious to see how this weighs against this model. So we're going to find out. All right. Ooh, Atari 2600. Here we go. And there it is. All right, guys. So obviously smaller. You can see that right off the bat, but the packaging is amazing, guys. All right, let's get that out of here if we can. Let's see what's in the box. Let's start with the box, then we'll get to the actual Atari itself. So let's see what we get in here. And that looks like a controller. Yes, it is. Now that is, yes, guys, that is a regular 9-pin controller. This means that stock factory controllers will work on this system. And what I'm curious about, guys, I don't hear micro switches. That actually, and listen, I don't hear, with the exception of the fire button, I don't hear any micro switches. I may have to tear that open and see what's inside this thing, because if it's not micro switches, then it's using the same kind of bubble that they used to have on the originals. I'm really curious about that. I love the feel. Dude, it feels authentic. You know, with the newer ones you can actually get of these that have the micro switches, they don't feel the same because you're not actually having to exert force on it to move this. This actually does, so I'm curious to see how that works. All right. And down further in the box, let's see what we get here. Looks like we get, what in the world is that? May have to go in from the other side here. Whoa! Check it out, guys. That's the cartridge. Nice. All right, let's get this off the table. I got to check this thing out. Okay, so on the back, I noticed there were dip switch settings. Check out the dip switches. And the dip switch settings are going to change the game that you're going to play. And on the front, it shows you. So 4 up is Adventure, combat, dodge, they're all changed from the dip switches. Guys, that is such a cool touch. You know, I thought this was going to be one of those multi-selectors like the Commodore over here where you would put it in and you just kind of go through menus. But no, that is really neat. So we're going to have to play around with that a little bit. All right, getting to the system itself. All right, right off the bat, guys, it is light. I can tell you that is extremely light, and there's an obvious reason for that. We'll get to that in a second. And you do get a guide here. Guys, pretty straightforward. USB in, HDMI out, cartridge in, and your joystick. You've got 2 ports for the joystick on that. We'll get to that in just a second here. Other than that, pretty straightforward. And in the bottom, you do get, there's something in there. Let's see what's in this box here. All right. You get, your cables. All right, so it looks like a standard HDMI cable on both sides. And you get a micro USB is what that looks like. Let's see if that's what that actually is. But you do not get a charging brick. Oh, actually, Type-C. So it is actually USB to Type-C, which is really nice, but no charging brick. That is, and I'm willing to bet it's probably 5 volt. Let's verify that. And it does not say on there. So we're going to have to check that one too. My guess is it's 5 volt, guys. There's no way that's not an FPGA, a single board in there, but we'll take a look at it and see here in just 1 second. So, all right, let's get to the system itself here and take a look at it, and then we're going to play some games. I have been jonesing for this. All right, so on the system itself, you can see it's got a standard cartridge slot. Over here, you've got your on and off. You've actually got a black and white and color controller. So retro. You got to love that. All right, you got your game select here and your reset switch. Now, on some of the heavy sixers, you had a couple extra buttons like difficulty modes, and you could set handicaps. So you could have difficulty mode on player 1 set to 2, on the other one set to 1, and that would kind of handicap the game. But on mine, and this is the original right here, as you can see, it's exactly the same. So on, off, color, black and white, game select, and reset. All right, coming back onto the back here. And you've actually got a 16:9 or 4:3 selector. That means you can play on contemporary TVs to fill the whole screen, or you can go to a 4:3 for an authentic feel if you actually want it to scale down in that inside of that 16:9 image. So it goes down to an actual square image. All right, you've got difficulty selectors on the back. Aha, that's how they did it. So instead of having them on the front like a heavy sixer, you actually have them on the back so you can set difficulty for player 1 and player 2. You've got 2 of the 9-pin controllers here. You've actually got an HDMI, and here's your Type-C power. Now, guys, it is much lighter. I mean, I could tell you that it's, well, actually, I'll tell you exactly. So, the original non-heavy sixer, okay, so this one weighs 2 pounds, 13 ounces. The new model weighs in at 1 pound, 6 ounces. So it's half the weight. Obviously, you're not dealing with a gigantic motherboard in there. But I am curious to see what's in it. So I tell you what, I am going to pull these screws out real quick. It looks like it's held together with 4 Phillips on the back here. And then let's take a look on the inside and see what we get. Here we go. All right, guys, back with you. So we've got our 4 screws out on the bottom here. And let's see how this thing opens up here. Aha! All right. Looks like it kind of opens just like a stock Atari. Let me turn it upside down here and see how this opens up. Yeah, only me, right? Get new... Okay, there we go, guys. So the bottom is essentially totally empty. You know, if I had been Atari, and I know this was a cost-cutting measure, I would have put a couple lead weights in here just to give it some extra heft. But I kind of understand why they didn't do it. Obviously, it's cost cutting. Yeah. So, all right. So taking a look at the back here, guys. Yeah, this is as expected. So your cartridge slots right here. You've got one board that controls everything. Duh. Yeah. You can actually see your switches on here. Your switches for your on and off, black and white, and then, of course, your game select and game reset over here. And you do have an LED that is pushed right up through there. And if you guys look, that is basically just a standard 2-prong connector with an LED jammed through the connector. Look at that. You can kind of see the little ends there. That's kind of funny. Hey, cost cutting. I get it. And that is all there is to this. So there's no other weight to it. So let me go ahead. I'm going to reassemble this thing. we're going to plug it in. We're going to get it. Stumpy, aimed up over at this screen here. Let's just take a look. I cannot wait. Here we go. All right, folks. You can see we've actually got it all connected up over here. Now, this is the Type-C cable that actually came with this. And guys, what I did is I actually had a 5-volt Type-C from a Raspberry Pi 4. So that's actually what we've got connected here. And we'll see if that's carrying 5-volt 3 amps, so it should be fine for this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the cartridge. Now, by default, you have all the settings are set to up, as you can see there. Now, if you look at the front, that should be Adventure. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plug this in and give Adventure a try. Oh, it's got that same snap. All right, everything is connected. We're powered up, aimed up here. Let's turn it on and see what we get. All right, we got our Atari logo, and I'm going to try to position you straight on, guys. There we go. Loading game right off the bat. Let's see here. And there's Adventure. All right, so I tell you what, guys, I'm going to just play a real quick through Adventure here. Let's see. And select. Okay, so this is game selection. There we go. And how do you start the game? And there you go. Now, we do have audio. Let me turn that up, guys, so we can actually hear the audio on it. There we go. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, yes, if you want to do this to where you get, and the controller, guys, very, very mushy, just like the original Atari controllers. There we go, dropping that. Now, if you want to play this Adventure and do it like Ready Player One, where you're looking for the Warren Robinette cheat code, don't do what I'm doing, because I'm actually, I know this game extremely well, so yeah. All right, hang on a second here. Going to go over here. Going to go over here and over there. There we go. Up, up, up. There we go. And, whoop, wrong side. See? Even after doing it a while, it's been a long time since I played, so I forgive myself. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go up here and we're going to get it. Okay, obviously it has been a while since I played Adventure. No teasing. That would not be fair. There we go. And I actually am on just the wrong side. That kind of figures how that goes. All right. Let's go over here and do this right this time, shall we? Down, around, up, this way, and through here. Let's leave we'll leave that where it is. We're going to go up here and we're going to get now this is the trophy. The trophy is what you want to take back. Now, guys, this is obviously the short way to do Adventure, but the idea is to see how the game is running. Audio sounds great, guys. Video looks great on this thing. That controller literally feels like an authentic Atari. It's wonderful. And that's how you win the game. So, all right, so I tell you what, let's turn this off. Let's try this cartridge and let's change some dip switch settings. So let's look at Yar's Revenge. So it's going to be down, up, up, down. So let's go down, up, down. There we go. And let's plug it in, turn it on, and let's see what we get. I really do kind of like that, guys, the fact that you can change that dip switch setting like that. There we go. You know, one thing I do wish this had was the ability to accept external ROMs, but since you have the ability to use the original cartridges, I'm less concerned about that. All right, and there it is, guys. Yar's Revenge. Now, if any of you guys have ever played this game, there you go. There we go, and oh, that was terrible. Yeah. There he goes. Oh, okay. Obviously, I'm out of practice here. And come on, get him. All right, doggone it. There we go. Ha! Victory. Yar's Revenge. All right, guys. So look, it's safe to assume that we know that all the games on this cartridge are going to work, but who's to say that an original Sword Quest will work? Now, this is one thing I'm very, very curious about. Guys, I've had this thing forever. Seriously. I'm popping in the original cartridge, same snap, firing it up, and let's see what this actually does on an original Sword Quest Earthworld cartridge. There's our Atari logo, and loading game. Here we go. Moment of truth. There it is. The original Sword Quest. Guys, this game, honestly, you could play for days and days and days. I mean, if you think about it, this was probably one of the first real 3D, when you would pass through the halls where it actually looked like you were going down a hallway, which was great. All right, so let's go ahead and, yeah, we're going to go through the door. Now, I am not going to sit here and play this game all the way through, guys, because if I do, frankly, we're going to be sitting here for hours. If a long play of Atari games is something you guys would like to see, let me know and we'll go through it. But the key is, it works. That's the key. All right, so let's take a look at one other game here. Canyon Bomber was one of my favorites, and then we'll go to Breakout. Now, I don't have paddles on this one, and I don't know if they work on it, but I am kind of curious about that. You know what? I might actually, I'm trying to think if I have a set of paddles. Let's take a look at Canyon Bomber and see if it boots up for us. There we go. And by the way, obviously this answers if the Raspberry power supply will work, because clearly it does. But all right, this is looking great. And there is Canyon Bomber. Now, guys, I don't know if you guys ever played this game back in the day. I used to love this game. So the concept was you're bombing these colors, and the idea is you're trying to knock them all out while also knocking out your opponent. So, and you could use jets or bombers, and it looks like it may not like that controller. So let's switch to the controller 2 and see if that makes a difference. Nope. All right, and hold on a second here. Now, we may have run into something here. Now, I'm not sure. All right, let's reset the game. All right, so on Canyon Bomber, I'm getting no controller. So let's go ahead. I'm going to reset that, make sure it's all clean in there, and it is. Reseat it, turn it back on. Interesting, right? So on that particular game, I was getting no controller. So let's see if it does the same thing. And then we'll test a couple more cartridges just to kind of see what we get here. Dodge them. Man, I forgot about some of these that are in here, guys. This is really, really cool. Zapper World, Tennis. Well, you know, Sword Quest works, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to select it. See, this is the opponent. And it is not letting me. It's like it's registering fire all the time, guys. Look at that. So if I pull the joystick out, nope, it's still doing it. So we're getting no control on Sword Quest, or excuse me, on Canyon Bomber. Pretty interesting. So we're going to set that one aside for just a second. Let's try, how about Super Breakout? Now, without a paddle, I'm curious to see if this will even identify the joystick. So we'll find out here. And, of course, another one that I used to really love that was joystick controlled was Warlords, but don't have a copy of that here, nor do I have the paddles. So, all right, loading up Super Breakout. And there it is. And it is working fine, guys. So, clearly, there we go. And let's see, how do you fire the ball here? Bear with me here, because without the fire button on that control, let's see, I'm going to move this to the other one real quick just to see if it does anything. Yeah, it's definitely joystick port 1, but it's not firing. And I'm willing to bet, guys, that has more to do with the fact that it's not a paddle. So let's load a notoriously not paddle game in here. Let's go with, yeah, here. Love this game. I won't even tell you what this one is, guys. Let's see if you recognize it when it comes on. Here we go. By the way, the switches feel awesome. Like when you actually flick it, it feels like you're actually flicking the switch, which is really cool. All right, loading up Atari. Here we go. And come on. Journey Escape. There it is. All right. Oh, yeah, this one's working perfectly. Oh, yeah. Oh, no! All right, so this one's working as it's supposed to. All right, so this one's working normally. All right, let's check out one more since we're here. Let's go down in the pile here and check something. Oh, you do have Warlords. Warlords I do have, but no paddles. We're not even going to pop that in. All right. Let's take a look at, what is that, tag scan or tack scan. Tack scan. Let's see if that one works for us. So far, guys, we're 100% on cartridges that work. For some weird reason, we were getting no firing on Breakout. Not sure what's up with that, but we'll look into it. But let's see if tack scan, which I am not familiar with this game. I'm not sure what we're doing on it, but we're going to find out. Loading game failed. That means this cartridge could either be defective or is not compatible with the system. So since we know it's kind of hit and miss on that, you know, I am kind of curious on this particular Atari cartridge. I don't even remember what this was, but I am curious to see if this system will acknowledge it at all. So let's find out, shall we? And yes, what you're seeing is actually a dissected Atari cartridge. All right, got our Atari logo. That's a good sign. Loading game, that's a better sign. And it is Combat. Disassembled Combat. I remember why I tore that cartridge apart too, because I was building a Raspberry into a case, and that was the case that I actually took it out of. But since we're here, let's play a little Combat. Oh, look at that. It's actually firing. Oh, you can spin the rounds, and it's working great. Guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but I spent many moons playing this game. Yeah, and it's playing wonderfully. Dude, the audio sounds good. The video is nice and crisp because you're dealing with HDMI. Yeah, this looks really nice. Awesome. All right, so we know that pieces of cartridges will run. Let's go for something a little more advanced here. What about Donkey Kong? Y'all remember this one? Well, let's see if this thing fires up for us. And as you can see, we're actually getting a loading game failed. Now, here's something that's curious about that one. This is a tested and known good cartridge. We know this one is functioning. So that is an interesting thing. You know what? Let's test another one of the known goods here. I've got a Superman. Let's check this one out. That means that this is compatible with, we will just say, most cartridges, because it does appear, like I said, I know that one works, and I'm 99% sure that the other one put in here worked. And let's see if Superman works. And it does work. Okay, so since it's working, yep, there we go. And it appears to be working normally. All right. Anybody else remember this game? I can't remember how you do this. It's been so long. All right. Oh, there we go. Superman. Oh, there he is. Come here, you. Come here, bad guy. Nice. Let's get the bad guy, put him in jail. Come here, you. All right, well, the key is it is actually working. So, another known good. So we're going to test one more, guys. This is Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is another tested known good cartridge. So if this works, that's going to answer our question that some do, some don't. There's no way to know. You just got to try it and see. But I'd say a majority of the games are going to work. And wait for it. There it is. Oh, man, guys, I played a lot of this game back in the day. Oh, my gosh, did I ever. Holy cow. This seems like years ago. Ah, got to whip that. Oops. Wow. Yeah, this is tsetse flies. Remember those? That is too cool. All right, guys, so we know that that one works too. All right. What does that tell us? That tells us that a majority of the games that you put into this system are going to function without a problem. You may run into one or two with small weird things like the firing not working. You saw that, but I'm not sure that wasn't a paddle issue. We'll revisit that at some point. And some that are saying that they just won't load. Now, once again, that could be a contact issue. It could just be because this one's not exactly 100% compatible. But obviously, for a majority of your games, it's going to work perfectly. But overall, guys, this system is absolutely amazing. What I want to do is I want to turn Stumpy around here. We were talking about the size difference. One last view before we wrap this one up. Let me turn this down here so you guys can actually see it. There we go. All right, so here's the original, and here is the new system. Kind of give you an idea. So you're talking about a couple inches shorter, width-wise a couple inches, but obviously there's a reason for that. You don't have to cram a gigantic motherboard in this little guy. It's got that little FPGA that we saw at the beginning, and clearly it works perfectly. Guys, I wouldn't hesitate for a minute to grab one. It's super, super cool, and I'm going to let you guys go because I'm going to go play some games. Have a great week, man. Bye-bye.